Hey, recording this video after close of trade Wednesday 23rd of February 2011. Hope you've had a good couple of days trading. Apologies for not putting out a video yesterday. Had an internet connection problem at the end of yesterday, and so that kind of prevented me from uploading anything. Anyway, things are kind of back to rights now, which is kind of good. And I've been enjoying the last couple of days, my favorite kind of days, down days. So we closed down, I think, about 9 points today, 1305, 2.7 million contracts traded. I think it was about 2.6 or something million contracts traded yesterday. So we're coming into some kind of support. I think, over the next couple of days, certainly wasn't put in today. I think we're going to, kind of test some lows tomorrow. I'll show you what I'm looking at on my charts. For me, one of the most significant things, we've now broken the beta X trend trailing stop here. The trailing stop was at about 8.5. We've kind of closed below that at 5.25, both on the daily and the weekly time frame. So that's pretty significant in terms of potential changes in trend. I mean, we could always get kind of bounces back, but I'm just interested in the if there's going to be a kind of a change in the overall kind of theme of the market kind of going forward. Longer term, this is just my 13,500 tip bar chart, just to show you this. At the end of today, so this was Monday's President's Day holiday. The market kind of sold off, and then we bounced back on the Tuesday to this pullback and a downtrend level here, and that kind of led to a really nice kind of decline over the last couple of days. We had an end of trend warning kind of coming at the end of the day, but we've really not had exhaustion selling on the downside yet. And what's interesting is on this last kind of move up at the end of today, where we went up to about 1312, we had a pullback in a downtrend signal again, with exhaustion buying on the upside. So we need to see and put in an end of trend warning signal with some kind of exhaustion selling on the downside, I'd have thought, before we start to kind of rally from here. So I still think we've got a little bit of downside kind of pressure going forward. 4,500 tip bar charts showing a similar kind of thing. This was a beautiful setup yesterday. So we rallied the first half of Tuesday into this end of trend warning signal here with exhaustion buying, professional blue bars up here at the highs, and that kind of led to this kind of swan dive for the rest of the day. And then coming into these, this is the overnight session. Coming into the overnight session, we had bearish divergence, we had our exhaustion buying, we kept on going to the downside, and we've had these kind of flush signals kind of helping us show there's kind of flush signals on the way down, and then again into this 1310, 1312 type level. You can see we had that exhaustion buying and kind of sold off from there later on in the day. We've still not had that kind of exhaustion selling on the downside. Quite a lot of, all these rallies, these kind of big buying rallies have been kind of sold off so far. So just wondering if tomorrow we're going to kind of see a little bit more downside action and finally kind of a capitulation type move with exhaustion selling on the downside. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. The 1500 tip bar chart has been a beauty over the last couple of days, helping us with all these turning points. So let me just show you from President's Day kind of forward. So this was the Sunday evening we started the swan dive, President's Day, and the rally at the beginning of Tuesday was an end of trend warning signal here, professional blue bars. We rallied into this 34 type level here, and this was an excellent setup here. We'd come into this and then double top, end of trend warning signal here. We'd had our exhaustion buying, all the blue professional bars on the way up here into this high at 34, testing back up, a little blue professional bar, and look at the amount of buying going on here. All these bearish divergence signals, I love these close to the zero line, show that they're kind of imbalanced and we're likely to get a trend move from here, and then that set off this kind of decline. And then the bottom of this move was, we had an end of trend warning signal. We pushed through it down to kind of these exhaustion lows at 1312, but really helpful in terms of signaling where the end of that move was. Then overnight on the Tuesday night, the high was marked by an end of trend warning signal here, bearish divergence, professional bars kind of coming into the highs here, and then we kind of sold off. And then the bottom of this move was marked after second cyclical turn after end of trend warning signal here, kind of marking the lows at 98, and then we rallied from there, and the highs at the end of the day was second cyclical turn after an end of trend. And all kind of the 1500 has just been great over the last couple of days, just helping kind of pinpoint. I probably overtraded today. I had about 6 trades in total and took out 13 3/4 points. just, I suppose I felt as if, we've had so few range down days, and I love them, so I might as well take advantage of them. So this is my first trade of the day, 4 points, cyclical turn on 1500 tip bar chart, professional blue bar kind of comes in at the lows. Re-entered to go short again here when we kind of broke below this cyclical support, just because coming up here we had these amateur bars and no more professional bars than this first one here, and the professional blue bars didn't come in till we came down to 1308 here, so just took out a couple of points here. These two setups here at these points here, particularly this one, this would have been an excellent trade to kind of go short around here at 1313. But coming into this rally on this time frame, the 1500, there were no professional blue bars here. You can see we had, the cyclical turn, we had the bearish divergence, but I didn't have a trifecta because the blue professional bars kind of came after the turn, and they were kind of getting onto this move and shorting it kind of really quickly. If I'd seen blue bars kind of coming into this turn, I'd have been short at this turning point as well, but wasn't. So just had to sit and sit. Wait for this cyclical turn, which was a pullback and a downtrend. Happened with amateur bars here, Rambo pattern kind of coming into this turning point, got out of this end of trend warning signal here. Now for some reason I started to want to go short again here. Now this is after we've had an end of trend and a second cyclical turn after an end of trend. I was trying to go short at this cyclical turning point here, and then you can see we had kind of amateur down bars kind of down here, and as soon as we broke above those amateur down bars, they were very evident on the 500 tip bar chart. We started to rally into an uptrend, and so I kind of reversed and went long, just took out a couple of points here. The move was good for a lot more, and I should have held it more than just a couple of points that I got into here. So not a great kind of exit here, but then I kind of waited for the next kind of setup short, which was an end of trend warning signal here with exhaustion buying signals. I'm getting a little better at kind of picking these end of trends, whether you go on the end of trend or the second cyclical turn after an end of trend. When you have exhaustion buying or exhaustion signals with an end of trend, then I think it's worth waiting for the next cyclical turn. But if we have a divergent signal, and that, for example, the exhaustion buying has come on this peak, for example, and then we get a bearish divergence or a divergence pattern at the end of the trend, then I should be taking the end of trend as the signal. So, it was a second kind of exhaustion buying signal at the second cyclical turn. I took a little bit of heat on this trade, but then it did kind of work out to the end of the day. So there we go. Those are kind of the trades I took today. If I tag on all of those at the end of this video, it'll obviously be kind of too long, so I'll pick a couple and tag those on to the end of this video. I think we still got a little bit of downside to go tomorrow. We still haven't seen that kind of capitulation selling volume on the downside, so I'm going to be looking for that tomorrow. So hope your trading went well today. Okay, just short at 15.25. Had a little bit of a rally from the lows down here at 13.12. But we've come into cyclical turning level here on the 1500 tip bar. We had some blue professional bars on the 500 tip bar chart, but when we just pushed up to 13.16, didn't see many here. Haven't seen any here on the 15. But we got bearish divergence, cyclical turn. So might kind of go back down to test. With this kind of downswing here. So let's see, but not a classic kind of icebreaker trade, just because we've not seen blue professional bars. They were all kind of pre-open, kind of buying this low. So let's see. Okay, there we go. Just taken out at target 11.25 for 4, and looks like we're going a little bit further, but exhaustion selling on the downside, and here we go. Bingo. So this is a pro signal exit here. Powder exhaustion selling and the professionals kind of come in. This usually happens, if the entry is kind of fairly decent, the pro signal exit will be close to where my profit target is, so that's great. Cyclical turn support kind of coming up. Now we've had a flush signal, so this pushed down to 11, so the low of the day was 11.75. We just pushed down to probably 10.75 on this move. It was a flush signal. Now we're getting a bounce from here. Cyclical support on 15. No supply kind of patterns down here. I'm just going to wait for a retest down and see what happens. What is that? 8:53 a.m. and we've got existing home sales coming out at 9, so just got to be careful about entering any trades here, particularly out with 4, kind of one shot, one kill. So let's see what happens next. Okay, we've just gone short at 1301.25. Just seems like all these shorts setting up today, which is just great. This last one kind of missed out on just because the cyclical turn happened kind of later than this peak here. Although it was a nice one, you could see kind of blue professional bars, bearish divergence. Just because that cyclical turn was late, kind of didn't feel like taking it. But got another one setting up here, 1500 tip bar chart. We'll have a cyclical turn here, and you can see coming on the 500 tip bar chart, you can see coming into 1302, being led by the amateurs, Rambo pattern, amateur up bars here. Professionals step in. We've got our exhaustion buying at this point, and then we've got these bearish divergence signals right on the 0 line. We start to break to the downside, and you can see here on the 4500 tip bar chart, this kind of move up has kind of been led by the amateurs at this point here. Now, don't particularly like this, that this is an amateur down bar at this point here, because that shows that I'm kind of doing what the amateurs are doing a little bit. So just wary of that, and keep watching this and see if we break below 1300 again. Okay, just reversed and went long at 1301.25, so scratch trade on the last one. The reason for doing this is 500 tip bar chart coming into a cyclical turning point. This last kind of move down, amateurs kind of at the lows here, Rambo pattern, and professionals were kind of coming into this point here. You can see, so this kind of down move was kind of an amateur down move, kind of testing the lows. And I'm just conscious on the 1500 tip bar chart here, we've had an end of trend warning signal and a second cyclical turn after end of trend, that pushed down to 98 and kind of flushed a lot of people kind of out. So a break above these as we're heading up to 1302, so a break above these cyclical resistance levels would put us in a little bit of an uptrend until we get resistance at 1306 or a cyclical turn on 4500. So good to reverse at 1301.25, and let's see if this runs a little bit. Okay, just a couple of minutes later, we kind of broke up to 1303 pretty quickly, but then on this retrace kind of came back down to the entry point. But still holding this, because this pullback was kind of being led by the amateurs here. You can see these amateur down bars on these time frames, and then 4500 tip bar chart, this kind of whole move is kind of amateur led on the way down. So for me, that's just kind of a testing move, and so we're kind of just testing these kind of turning points here. So 98 and then 1301, 1300 really, and then 1301 at this level here. So hopefully we're going to break above this cyclical resistance level, 1304, and we'll have a little bit of a run to the upside until we've reached resistance at 1306 when we get a cyclical turn on the 4500 tip bar chart. So fingers crossed, still holding long. Okay, I just came out at 375 for 2.5. And the reason for coming out now, we had a blue professional bar kind of come in on this break at 1304. On the 500 and the 1500 tip bar chart, you can see that and profit-taking pattern right there at the highs, and it was exhaustion buying on this 500 tip frame chart. Then we've got also professional bar on the 45. So we're coming up to a cyclical turn here. This is going to be a little bit of resistance. Looks like we're not going to kind of make it to 1306. So it's kind of crazy to be looking for a really big moving kind of uptrend move in a downtrend day. So I'll take that. So potentially we've got another kind of short trade setting up, but let's see what happens next. It's kind of been good trading today, and I'm doing a lot more than I usually do, but just because the ranges are good, so the setups are good.